Willpower is the key to success. Successful people strive no matter what they feel by applying their will to overcome apathy, doubt, or fear. Dan Millman. I didn't feel like working out at 1 o'clock this afternoon. I had a very busy morning. I had another meeting I had to be at 2. I had less than an hour to get my workout in, to recover, to get cleaned up, to get a suit on, and to get to my appointment. But you know what I did? I did it. Do you think every day I feel like doing this program, spending all the time and energy it takes to put it together, then to download it everywhere, send it out all over the place? You think I feel like that every day? I don't. It's called willpower. That's what will get you, that's what will keep you going. That's what will get you going, and that is what will bring you success. 10 to 15 minutes a day, that is all we ask, no matter how you feel, no matter how your trades have gone lately. You stick with it because you are bound and determined to master it, and master it you will, but only if you have the will. Let's jump into these charts. Stocks are down for the day. Bonds, gold, Bitcoin up. We see the S&P 500 down 0.54%. And of course, as we look at the price percent oscillator pulling well away from the red signal line, derivative oscillator negative, which is exactly what we ought to be seeing. Red down candle. It's beautiful. It's the way things are supposed to be. And I just screwed up the half day. We used to call it 4 hour, 195-minute half day trend line. We'll fix that when we get to it. Now, let's go to the 2-day. What do we see there? Well, my friends, remember that 2-day recross back on Thursday? Has it not paid dividends for you? Yes, it has. For those of you who jumped in, shorted the market, got into a put trade or got into SH. What is SH? It is the inverse fund for SPY. It's a single inverse, nothing dangerous there, but it is something that if you're interested in, you have to practice trade it. You have to practice trade it. You have to see how well you do. And then when you think you get good at it, you know what you need to do then? You need to fractionally trade it. In fact, as I think about this, there are 2 trainings that I'm going to put. Got to write this down. 2 trainings I'm going to put at the end of today's video. The first is on inverse funds, and the second is on fractional trading. I want you to have both of those important trainings. Hey, the special training for subscribers today is a good one. Dollar cost averaging, problems and our solution. It will open your eyes if you're a big profit, what do they call this again? Dollar cost averaging. If you're a big dollar cost averaging advocate, I want you to listen to this video. But of course, you need to be a subscriber. What does that cost? Nothing. You can subscribe for free at chartingwealth.com. But by all means, I hope that those of you who jumped in, you might have practiced traded SH or a put. And of course, don't forget all of our Patreon supporters. What do you get with your Patreon membership? You get that special training on 3-part series on Options Made Simple, the Charting Wealth Way. Now, let's look at what's going on this half-day chart. What do we see going on there? Well, we see that it is trundling down quite rapidly. Nice, strong down movement. The derivative oscillator is losing a little bit of downward momentum, but that price percent oscillator is moving down, and it's just beautiful so far. Pay close attention if you're in that 2-day recross action. It has served you well. Again, hope that you have your profit and loss bands locked in, and when you hit those percentages of profit, that you take some or all of that profit. You can always bifurcate or trifurcate those trend lines, but again, profit bands, but again, pay close attention. Set them at the outset of your entry. Now, let's go to the Qs. Down about half of what the S&P was, down 0.28%. What do we have for the week? We have a red spinning top, almost a doji. Price percent oscillator may or may not cross over going down by the end of the week. Still in a confirmed up move until that weekly candle finishes forming and we know what's up. We did have a 2-day crossover going down. Remember, it's not a recross. It's going in the opposite direction of the weekly trend. And we went ahead and reversed our our trend line for you so that immediately when you glance at the chart, you see the action that is transpiring. We see the price percent oscillator pulling away from the red signal line, derivative oscillator gaining downward momentum, and we will watch, wait, and see how this finishes drawing on Wednesday. Now, what's up with the half day? Again, we can see where things actually bottomed on the half day, or it's sort of hitting the same bottom there on that half day chart. We saw that happen on Monday afternoon, Monday morning, Monday afternoon, and we saw it on Tuesday afternoon. That price percent oscillator is still heading down. Look at the derivative oscillator. That's showing you that it's flat. So we'll see how things continue to go on the Qs. That's where we are there. We'll go on to bonds. Bonds are booming up 1.21%. Quite nice price percent oscillator, which had been flat for several weeks, now slowly pulling up. Derivative oscillator still losing momentum, just barely green. Green candle for the week, the first we've seen in 3 weeks. We go to the 2-day, and of course 5 days of nice up movement. Hasn't crossed over going up, but you know what might happen tomorrow? When this candle gets ready to close at the close of business on Wednesday, pay close attention. You might have a 2-day recross. It might give you an opportunity to jump into this, again, 2-day recross, if indeed it occurs. We'd love to see that derivative oscillator flip over at the same time and make us feel better about it. And you can, of course, look how things have continued to fly upward with this up movement on our charts, starting when things really sort of bottomed out there on the morning of last Wednesday, the 8th, and then it just sort of started gaining some momentum, digested some gains, and then the last 2 days popping up again. Good to see bonds potentially, I say that, potentially taking off. What about gold? What is gold doing? Up 0.64%. Now we still have a red spinning top, solid red spinning top, lots of indecision, tending down, but it's trying to hold its own, trying. The derivative oscillator is green and gaining a little bit of momentum. Price percent oscillator trying to pull away from the red signal line. What will happen? Well, let's look at the 2-day. 2-day moving up. Derivative oscillator still losing momentum, but that price percent oscillator heading up. We have a green spinning top. Again, means indecision, but it's an open box spinning top tending up. So we'll hold our breath and see, because so far from our weekly vertical crossover back on Friday, that has not done so well over the last 7 days. So we'll see if that's going to recover. Typically what happens with gold, we look at this weekly chart, it's a pretty darn good chart. A pretty darn good chart. So we'll watch, wait, and see how this continues to develop. What about the half day? Well, some of the good news is at the end of the day, it rotated over going up. So we don't draw trend lines on the half day just because it's more trouble than it's worth. But what we do is, and again, we don't use the half day as a trigger for what we're doing. So hence, we don't add that extra of putting the crossover on there. But we do use a trend line so that when you glance at things, you can glance at this real quick and see, oh, the weekly's heading up, oh, the 2 days heading up, and oh, the half day's heading up. And it did actually cross over. That's beautiful to see the derivative oscillator and the price percent oscillator crossover going up at the same time. That's where we are on gold. Lastly, we go to Bitcoin. Rebounding up for the day, 5.83%. And as we look at the weekly, we can see the price percent oscillator a little more than flat. Looks like it's trying to head up some, but we have a red down candle for the week now. In the past, that has signified down movement, strong down movement. So again, a lot of caution here. Why? Because we had that 2-day crossover going down, have a red down candle, still forming Heikin-Ashi candlestick, derivative oscillator, still gaining downward momentum, and price percent oscillator pulling away from the red signal line. We look at the action that we see on the half day, and again, we see things moving up throughout the course of the day, but the price percent oscillator still way in the negative, derivative oscillator still gaining downward momentum. So again, pull our trades when we have those 2-day crossovers moving in the opposite direction of our weekly chart. So of course would have pulled that trade when that is the last of the whistles to tell you to pull that trade. And of course that one did occur when? Well, that occurred on Monday. So we will continue to watch, wait, and see how things develop. And that last move was not a bad one for us at all. In fact, it was rather nice. But we'll continue to watch and see how Bitcoin develops. You're not going to learn anything about Bitcoin if you're not practice trading it and taking it serious. So if you're interested in Bitcoin, and many of you guys said you were, that's why we added it. Wasn't anything I ever expected to be tracking, but you asked me to do it, and I did it for you. I hope you're making use of it. So where we are, folks, hey, thank you for all the new Patreon support. Of course, with Patreon membership, you get all sorts of things. On Thursday of this week, we'll be sending our Patreon members another 20 weekly vertical crossovers on the S&P. Always give you a lot to be practice trading. And don't forget the first week of every month, that first Wednesday, we have our live question and answer call in session. Plus, when you become a Patreon member at any of the 3 support levels, what do you get? You get an email with all sorts of special trainings in it. Of course, the biggest is that 3-part series, Options Made Simple, the Charting Wealth Way. God bless, my friends. All the best from the whole team at Charting Wealth World Headquarters.